an incredible day to be alive. Thank you again for your commitment to empowering 100,000 families to experience the 6 and or 7-figure lifestyle. And as we always say, it's not the money, it's what the money allows and empowers people to do. And you're talking about mentorship and so forth and people in your life. Well, our speaker today, Global Ambassador Dr. Katrina Ferguson, I've known her for decades, but we got to, we're blessed to be able to co-author several books, became #1 bestsellers, but one book that we co-authored, Walking with the Wise, we co-authored a book with Zig Ziglar, the likes of Brian Tracy, Dan Kennedy, Susie Orman, Dr. Wayne Dyer, J. Conrad Leviston, T. Harv Eker, Dr. Deepak Chopra, Ted DiBiase, Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Chuck Norris, John Assaraf, Susie Orman. We could go on and on, but I'm saying powerful, powerful people, and she was part of that book collaboration as well. She's made millions in different industries and network marketing industry. She was actually a poster child for single-parent mothers, and I'll never forget visiting her 8,000 square foot home that she was able to purchase with money from a home-based business and different things she was doing. And then she went in other industries as well to make millions of dollars. She's very humble, but very knowledgeable, very powerful, very practical. And you're going to hear with great delight a lady that's got a heart as big as Texas and Florida and Maryland. She knows the facts and knows the details. I'm telling you, incredible, incredible. When we talk about the personalities, well, she's like a perfect square. She's got a combination of all of them. And so she can dip and dab and do whatever needs to be done. So you're going to hear with great delight, again, my friend, a international speaker, trainer, author, just all-around good person, Dr. Katrina Ferguson. My sister, take it away.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Stan, for that amazing introduction. And, you know, I was listening to Coach 100K, good morning, sir, as he was talking about mentoring and how his life has shifted and is different because of his association with you. And I have to say, I have the same testimony that things in my life are different and things have shifted, and you played a huge, huge part in me being able to grow and continue to grow into who God created me to be. So for that, sir, I thank you. I appreciate you. Well, good morning, Uplyftt family. This is Dr. Katrina Ferguson, and, you know, there's just a couple things that have been on my heart as we start this new year. Everyone is making New Year's resolutions, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, you know, if you're just now making your New Year's resolution, then you're late, because we made our New Year's resolutions back in October, and we started fasting and praying and writing and believing and creating vision boards back then, so that when we hit 2020, we could hit it running. So hopefully you have the same story, and congratulations, you made it to 2020. So you've already won this year, one race. Let's continue to run and win many, many more. One of the things that I found, especially in light of Coach 100K's comments and Dr. Stan actually hosting this portion of the call, is how powerful and how important it is to use the right tool from your toolbox, right? So what do I mean when I say that? We all have our gifts, we all have our talents, we all have things that we can do. And it's easy, you know, these are the things that are in our toolbox. So we can literally pick up the toolbox and get the right tool out. But if you use the right tool at the wrong time, or the wrong tool at the right time, then it could be just a chaotic mess. And let me tell you what I mean. For instance, there is an illiteracy that is pervasive in our communities, right? And somebody's saying, what do you mean illiteracy? A lot of people can read, but illiteracy and reading is what used to go together. The new illiteracy is not being coachable. Not being coachable is the new illiteracy. So what's happened is we know so much, and we have, you know, Dr. Google to tell us what's wrong with our bodies. We've got the psychologist Google to tell us what's wrong with our minds. We've even got the child psychologist Google to tell us what's wrong with our children. When in actuality, none of that is in alignment with even our belief systems and how we get to these answers. We have to be coachable and we have to be teachable, but based on what? That's got to be wisdom. So when we're looking at our decision making, when we look at how we make our decisions, understand there's about 3 ways that we do this. The first way that we make our decisions is just by knowledge, right? I know if I flip the switch, the light's going to come on. So if I want light, I flip the switch. Knowledge. The second is by compliance. I know, right, Dr. Stan, this is for you. If I exceed the speed limit, I'm going to get a ticket. So I make a decision by compliance or lack of compliance. I decide whether or not I'm going to comply. But the third and overwhelmingly most way that we make, I don't know if that's accurate vernacular, the most overwhelming way that we make decisions is based on wisdom or lack thereof. It's the wisdom of our experience, the wisdom of the people that we've chosen to surround ourselves with. It's somehow the wisdom of God based on his spoken word or the read word or the word that's read. We have to make decisions, and those is on us fall in those 3 categories. So if you don't have the right tool of wisdom in your toolbox, which is actually 90% of the battle that we fight, you need to be coachable. You need to be teachable. You need the wisdom of someone else, maybe who's experienced it, who's been through it, in order to move you to the next level. Because, again, there's a true difference between knowledge and wisdom. It blows me when I hear people say, knowledge is power. No, it isn't. Knowledge is knowledge. If you don't apply the knowledge, you're not going to get any more power than you had before you had the knowledge, right? So knowledge is the information. Wisdom is how you apply it. So the more you know, and the more ways you know how to apply it, the more success that you're going to be able to have. Wisdom tells you when to apply the information or the knowledge that you already have, right? Wisdom is knowledge and experience together, not just knowledge. So you don't even have to have a whole lot of knowledge if you have wisdom, because wisdom will call you or cause you to be open, to be coachable, and to be teachable. Although we want to thirst for knowledge, we want to seek knowledge, we want to seek understanding, you want to make sure that you're seeking wisdom as well. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 13 says, take fast hold of instruction, let her not go, keep her, for she is life. So we want the instruction, and we want the knowledge, and we want the wisdom. So we're going to seek all 3. Let's talk about the difference, though, because some of us are coachable, but we're not teachable. Some of us are teachable, but not coachable. But the power equation is to be both coachable and teachable. What does coachable mean? By definition, it's being willing and being ready to receive correction. Ooh, we don't like that. Don't tell me what to do. I'm grown. Yeah, but if what you're doing is not effective, if what you're doing is wrong, if what you're doing is hurting other people, you need to be open to hearing that from somebody. You got to be willing and ready to receive correction. You got to be skillful in learning, meaning that you realize that the person that's coaching you knows what they're talking about, has your best interest at heart. Because think about it. Think about the athletics, right? People who choose coaches don't choose people they don't trust. When you choose a coach, even a life coach, you don't choose someone that you don't believe has the knowledge or the experience to help you get where you're going. You're looking for someone who's going to tell you what to do, basically. And it's amazing to understand. I have all these coaching clients, they spend all this money with me, and then I tell them what they need to hear, what they need to do, and then they don't do it. And then they keep spending money asking me why their life isn't changing. It's because you're not truly coachable. I mean, you stay coachable, you sit there, you listen, you take notes, and act as if you're going to do something with them, but then you don't ever get out there. So there are people like on this line even. So I'm going to go global ambassador, I'm going crown, but you're not doing what your leadership is saying. It's like, then what are you talking about? Stop saying it if you're not going to be coachable, if you're not going to do what you're told to do. Because think about it, the game doesn't start until you're on the field. Okay, you have coaching, you have practice and all of that. But a friend of mine who plays basketball, he talked about the fact that he would do practice and all of that, but the real coaching started when they hit the field. If they looked off to the coach and the coach told them something to do, they had to do that because the coach was not in the frame. He could see because he was not in the frame. Think about it. Most of our lives, we don't see what we need to see because we live our lives from inside the picture frame. So it's a one-dimensional picture. But somebody, your coach, who's on the outside looking at the entire picture has a different perception. They're seeing more than you're able to see, and therefore they can say, no, don't go left. You're going to lose a leg if you go left. But we want to go see if we're going to lose a leg for real. Sounds like a bad horror flick, right? The person that runs to the damage and the danger as opposed to running away from it. We have to be coachable so that we can apply what we learn even on these calls and in other personal development avenues to our lives so that change can actually come. Being teachable is more in alignment with the whole knowledge piece, because being teachable means that you're able and you're willing to learn new skill sets so that you listen well, you acknowledge the errors that you make, and then you fix them. And then you seek more knowledge so that you can apply more wisdom to that situation and move yourself forward. So a person who is coachable and teachable has both of these things working together to build them in terms of what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to become. Proverbs 24, verse 5. In the Message Bible says, it's better to be wise than to be strong. That intelligence outranks muscle any day. Strategic planning, it's the key to warfare. And to win, you need a lot of good counsel. You know, other places in the Bible says in a multitude of counsel, there's safety. We don't want to be impulsive and indecisive. This is not just a commandment here in the book of wisdom, right? Proverbs, that's saying, okay, go and get a second opinion or consult with a few of your friends, because it's calling us to go to many advisors in your same area in the area of the expertise that you want to grow. The biggest mistake that people make is you come into a new industry or a new company or a new situation. Perfect example. Someone asked me for advice on a tax situation, and I gave them my advice. Now, I've been in this tax industry for decades. I like that, Dr. Stan. That way I don't have to tell people how old I am. But for decades. And you call me and you ask me for expertise, and then you're going to call me and tell me what your sister said or your best friend said, then why did you waste my time? Because that's not wisdom to seek counsel from people who have nothing to do with the topic that you need counsel in. If you're going to seek an expert, if you want to think about this, if you want to become a crown ambassador or beyond, who are you going to call? Don't call me. I got this far as global. But Dr. Stan, who is willing and able and is more than available, is the person that you go to. But then when he tells you what to do, you need to do it. Why? Because he's where you're going, where you want to be. It's time out for feeling like, oh, someone has gotten so far ahead of me, or he's better than me, or being intimidated by someone else's success. If God placed them in your space, it's because there's something that he wants you to get from them. Somewhere there's a blessing for both of you, right? Dr. said a win-win-win in the entire situation. So be open, be coachable, be teachable, and seek wisdom, the wisdom of people who've done what you want to do. Now, be careful about your tribe, because they love you, but they don't want to lose you. So if what you're asking them about is going to cause you to exceed their life space, meaning you have more, or cause you to move on, or into another neighborhood, get a bigger house or a nicer car than theirs, subconsciously they're going to give you all the negative, because they don't want to see you hurt, and they don't want to see you leave their life space. So you need a multitude of counselors, and then you seek out for wisdom, and we do that quietly in our own personal meditation and prayer time. You've got to have the outside the box thinking. You can't keep doing it the way your tribe is doing it. You hang around 9 broke people, you're bound to be the 10th. But you hang around 9 wealthy and wise people, guess what? You're also you're bound to be the 10th there as well. Okay? So I was just having these thoughts, Dr. Stan, back and forth about wisdom and knowledge and understanding about being coachable and teachable, and realizing the illiteracy of our country just because we won't listen to the people who know how to make things happen. That we have just torn ourselves away from the very fabric of what caused America to be great at any level ever. And now it's like, what do we do? And then we are in this box of our lives trying to figure out, okay, how do we live for kingdom purpose? And the Bible says it's because we get wisdom. And with all our getting, we get understanding. And then we apply it to our lives. We're coachable and we're teachable. And then we trust the people that God placed around us so that we can actually be great in our own lives. And that will transfer to making America great again. So, sir, I will turn it to you if you have anything you want to ask me to expound on or questions for me.
Wow. Awesome. And so needed. Often say that $1 million piece of advice is never seek advice or counsel from someone who's never constructed what you would like to build. And on the same token, though, as you mentioned, when someone has built something that you would like to construct, then you need to receive the constructive criticism, you need to receive the word that they have. And I always tell people all the time, you can't hurt me by helping me to be better. I mean, yes, but again, it's impossible to see the picture, when you're in the frame, and you can't see the forest when you're, when you're one of the trees. And so we always have these blind spots, and we have to have other people. And just like I love like conferences when I even when I'm the keynote speaker, I always show up to hear the other speakers, because you just never know. Sometimes just one nugget, just one key point that'll change your life for the rest of your life, take you to a whole nother dimension, or readjust your vision and so forth. And so thank you very much, Dr. Ferguson, for these powerful words. And let's just see real quick if somebody's got she's got just a moment or two. I know she's got to get running, but if you've got a question, like I said, you need something clarified, I think star will unmute your line. Star will unmute your line. Just very briefly, if there's anybody out there real quick, one of these second call of the new year, and if anybody needs anything clarified, if you've got a question for Dr. Katrina Ferguson, and now is your time, star will unmute your line.
You know what, Dr. Sam, what I find is often a lot of times people don't, we get stuck on the overs and the self. And that's kind of what stops us from being coachable and stops us from being teachable. When I say overs, I mean we become overconfident. We're overcome with what's going on in our world. We're over it to the point where we won't seek godly counsel. And then, or we get to be self-confident, or our self-esteem is an issue. And so we get stuck with the overs and the selves, and we never become coachable, teachable, and we never accept the wisdom that comes with the experience of others. One of my children actually said to me, I was coaching her, parenting her, and we were talking, and I was telling her, I said, well, I went through all of that. Why do you need to go through it too? And she said, well, I'm just the type of person, I need to experience things for myself. I said, no. She's like, I said, so you need to bump your own head? She said, yeah. I said, so you sound like a fool, based on the definition of a fool, right? Because being foolhardy means you won't accept the wisdom that God surrounds us with to catapult us further. It's like those people who won't read a book. Like we take our lives and we pour 20 years of experience into a book, 150 pages long, and people won't pick up the book to read it so that their own lives can change in the process. So if you're in the process of making your resolutions and your plans for 2020, make sure that you include in that plan reading at least a book a month. If that's what you did last year, then make it 2 books a month. But you've got to grow in knowledge, and then you'll grow in wisdom. You'll have more situations to apply that wisdom. You'll grow in experience, and you can be a real blessing for kingdom purpose, because it is time. It's a time to get about building the prosperity of kingdom and the prosperity of God's people.
Come on now. Awesome. All righty. Exactly. Okay, did anybody have a question real quick? Anybody with a question for Dr. Katrina Ferguson on anything that she talked about? I'll give you that opportunity. All righty. Well, Coach 100K, let's bring you out. What you got to say, man?
Well, hey, listen, I'm excited. Teachable and coachable. Thank you so much. Dr. Ferguson, I have a question for you. That if you could elaborate on this. I remember I used to have a hard time understanding others when I was trying to get them to do things like read books and so forth. And somebody told me about this thing called fear of success. Can you speak about, 'cause it sounded crazy to me. Who wouldn't want to succeed? But then I had to start learning about what were some of the fears of people being taught when they could easily succeed, yet they're afraid of success. Could you speak on the fear of success just for a moment?
Absolutely. We know that fear is false evidence appearing real. I know Dr. Stan has said that. If he said it once, he said it 1,000 times. But what happens, I believe, is sometimes we call a fear of success what can actually be it's a choke. It's like an automatic choke. It reminds me of the parable where the weeds grow up to choke the seed, and the seed cannot grow. And that's kind of what fear does. Fear is a paralyzer. Fear will stop you dead in your tracks. It won't allow you to move. So a fear of success simply means with success comes greater responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required. And so what a lot of times, Coach 100K, I believe people are saying when they say they fear success, they're saying, I don't want to take on the responsibility of success, because it's a whole different mindset to manage $1 than it is to manage $1,000, to manage $1 million. It's a much greater responsibility. And people are going to be looking at you to do things a certain way, to do things to speak a certain way, to carry yourself a certain way, because you are now representing the wealth of the kingdom of God. That's what success is. You got success. And maybe sometimes it's even that I'm successful in this area, but I'm not successful in that area. So it's like, well, I can't really, work real hard here because I know that this area is still messed up. Whatever it is, it's about a broken mindset. It's about something not coming together in our minds, and we're allowed, it's a self-indulgence. It's about making your success about yourself. One of the selves that we have to get over. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about all of us coming together with our gifts and our talents to cause a greater good. We are all a separate part of the body of Christ. I might be super, super good at sharing and inspiring people, but nobody motivates people like Dr. Stan. What if I said, I don't want to be around him because he's powerful, he breaks boards, and I'd have missed out on a lifetime of opportunities for success. Why? Because I was lacking God confidence and instead was depending on my own self-confidence. It is not about us. So, yeah, people fear success mostly, like the book of Proverbs says, because they're lazy, because it comes with a lot of work. It's not easy to be successful, because it's like once you're successful in any area, people expect you to be successful in every area. And if you're stuck on you and not kingdom purpose, then, yeah, I would fear success too.
Wow, that's incredible. I think about that because it takes a bold heart to decide that I want to live the great lifestyle. We all hear this all the time, Dr. Ferguson and Dr. Breakthrough. We hear people talking about how they want to make a lot of money, but if you say, you can hear their language, hear they talk. Dr. Ferguson, to live in an 8,000 square foot house, which by my reading, I understand that a mansion starts around 6,500 square feet, somewhere around there is a mansion. And so to live in a mansion, I've heard many believers who talk about being successful say, "Oh, that's too much house. I don't think I need all that house," and so forth. Well, no, you didn't need it for you, no way. I mean, you didn't need 8,000 square feet for you, but people need to see you in 8,000 square feet to understand that it's real and understand that we can do it. And I mean, you'd be just as successful if you'd have had a 4,000 square foot house, 5,000 square foot house. But to have a 8,000 square foot house, that's what we have to get people's minds ready to be teachable and coachable, that you deserve the more. And people need to see the more on you to understand that it's real. If it happened for her, it can happen for me. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for sharing that on fear. I think fear was the culprit last year, And if we don't watch it, fear can be the culprit again this year.
So right, so right. You know, Proverbs 3:26, for the Lord shall be thy confidence. See, that's the key where people get. So she's saying there's a difference between self-confidence and God confidence. So when the Lord's your confidence and you're really trusting in Him, then okay, then I could be a polished and be a great polished speaker. But He's going to send Ananias. Now I'm losing the thought there. But anyway, He's going to send the Aquila and Priscilla to come and instruct me in the Lord more perfectly, right? So, but that doesn't take away from the gifting that I have. It's actually adding to it. But when the Lord's my confidence, then I can do things and I can receive properly, and I don't have to fear. I don't have to have that fear. Now I walk in faith, believing, because He and He alone is my confidence. And so one of the things I tell people, when you can't believe in you, believe in the God who believes in you, and believe in the mentors who believe in you until your own faith kicks back in. Use their faith like training wheels. All righty. So again, Proverbs 3:26. Proverbs 3:26. Okay.
Wow.
All righty. So that's what we have for today. And again, this year, 2020, understand you have a kingdom assignment, and it's all about kingdom advancement, and that's everything that our lives are compassed about. And so everything that we do comes through that filter. And when we have that kind of focus, my friend, and so 2020 it's going to be, this is the year of the breakthrough vision and breakthrough provision. Come on, somebody. 2020. All righty. Well, God bless you. Let's close out the call and just let folks show some appreciation to Dr. Katrina Ferguson with these powerful, powerful nuggets.
Thank you, Doctor.